All right, the first item on the Town of Lake Mills agenda tonight is the notice of a public hearing. The notice was hereby given by the Town Board of the Town of Lake Mills, Wisconsin, that a public hearing will be held on the 11th day of June, 2019 at the Town Hall at 1111 South Main Street, Lake Mills, Wisconsin, at 8 p.m. to consider the request of Sarah and Gregory Heidemann for conditional use permit for a dog kennel on an existing A1 property located near W9122 London Road. The town board will consider the request at the monthly public meeting directly following the adjournment of the public meeting. All persons wishing to be heard are invited to be present. Provenance Clerk, posted and published on the town's website, May 25th, 2019. I hereby open the public hearing on the topic of the request for a conditional use for Sarah and Gregory Heidemann. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on this petition?
This would be the public, not the applicants.
Okay.
Because I see her like, should we say something?
Is there anyone here who would like to say anything about this?
I would just like to say from hearing about it last week, I think it's awesome. Make sure I find out the name of it.
And what's your name, sir?
Mike Kennedy.
Okay, thank you.
There's nowhere in town to have your pet kennels or taken care of or daycare or anything, so it was really good. It was something like that. I have a princess. She needs attention.
I was wondering, is this your property or is this rented property?
We own half the farm, my parents own the second half.
I
So like
understand
the farm's kind of split in two. So technically my parents own that building, we just own the rest of it.
I see, now I understand.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any comments, any other comments that need to be heard tonight? Hearing none, I will hereby ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Actually, I don't believe it needs a motion, you
All
just
right.
close it. So.
Close the public hearing at 8:03. Thank you. Now we'll begin the regular meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Lake Mills. It is June 11th, 2019. It is 8:04 p.m. I would like to call the meeting to order. The notice was published at the Town Hall, the North End Boat Launch, and the cul-de-sac on Finch Brothers Road, and also on the town's website. Item 2 on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make that motion as printed.
Is there a second? Thank you. Is there any discussion on the agenda? The only item that I have to take away from the agenda is item A under old business, the snow removal contract, and we can cover that when we get there. Item 3, all in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye. Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. The agenda is approved. Item 3, approval of the minutes from the May meeting. Are there any questions? Is there any discussion? I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 14th meeting.
And I will second that. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the minutes from the May meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. The minutes are approved. Item 4, approval of the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve June's treasurer's report.
Second the motion.
Is there any discussion or questions on the treasurer's report? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the treasurer's report as published, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Report is approved. Thank you, Sharon. Item 5, approval of the general fund vouching. I would make a motion to approve the general fund vouching for June. Anyone want to second that?
Yeah, price, how much?
Oh, $42,234.38.
Second.
Is there any discussion or questions? Dave, I can hardly handle it.
All right.
All right. All in favor of approving the vouching, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Item 6, reports. A, Matt, police report.
Start with the boat patrol for the month of May. They had 98 hours of boat patrol. They issued 3 citations and 2 warnings. They conducted 11 compliance and safety inspections of boats on the lake in May. On the road patrol, we logged 56 hours of road patrol, handled 3 calls for service, spent 3.5 hours on complaints, had a total of 35 traffic stops, issued 19 warnings, 16 traffic citations, spent 17 hours on stationary radar, conducted 2 business checks, 13 park checks, and 4 extra patrols for the month of May.
Thank you, Matt. Is there anyone here from the Joint Rock Lake Committee? Seeing none, anyone have a subject they would like to bring forward to the Joint Rock Lake Committee? Hearing none, moving on. Item C, Planning Commission report. Jim?
The variance for John Reich, there was no objection, and conditional use for the dog kennel for Greg and Sarah Heidemann was approved for up to 20 dogs and 4 cats. And the discussion and decision on variance for Richard and Christine Schwarzy, they requested that that be just an informational presentation that night and that no action be taken. So that item should actually be off of our agenda for tonight also, correct? That's it.
All right, thank you. Item D, any other committee reports? Dave, you've been over to Cambridge?
Nope.
Good, Cambridge Fire Department is happy. Okay, all important. Item 7, a period of public comment and questions for anything that is not on the agenda. Now, I know you guys are probably here for the Schwarzy thing. If you have questions or comments you would like to make, this would be the time to do that.
Oh, okay. I spoke, you guys were all here last week, I spoke last week that I was a bit concerned about the variance. I've heard several times 33 feet, 33 feet, 33 feet. I have gotten, I don't have the survey back, and I wasn't expecting this tonight to be about that because I thought after last week that we would hear when the variance hearing was going to come. So I just happened to look on the board today and see that it was on there, and I'm like, oh, I better show up. So just so the town has it, I don't have all of these surveys back yet, but this is kind of where it started, just for informational. Their report of where they stated the driveway was going to come in. And you can see where the Wells' driveway is and where mine is, where they say there's 33 feet. That is their drawing that they submitted. The actual room is 31.97 is what's listed. And that's a quick picture. This is a short picture. And then when you do the exact above, the problem would be is that it's nowhere near where they are stating it would be, because the line is technically right there on the edge of the driveway. I have the surveyors coming out to actually do an actual survey of our lot lines, and I also have a company that is looking into all of the issues. Do you guys want to keep that, or do you want me to, I can take it, or do you need it?
No, if you want to leave it, that's great.
Yeah. I have a company that, just because I'm in business, I know that when I work with people all the time, they generally will agree with me. And not saying anything by that, but a builder is always going to have people that work with them. And there was a big discussion on what that property could be used for, and I'm going to show that it is a lot better than it looks. And if the Wells had the problem that they had with quite a bit wider of a driveway, with the driveway that's going to be instituted here, there's not going to be a turnaround. There's not going to be able to really, it's going to be very, very long, and it's going to be in a lot of water after it gets past my willow tree. I have to walk through there with hip waders, just so you know, to get in the back of my property. And then sometimes it only comes up to my knees, you know, and then spring doesn't make any sense. We all know what happens in spring. But I have a lot of concerns. I'm not just concerned with, you know, where all this construction equipment's gonna go in the court, how this is gonna work, how you're gonna build 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, you know, with this little path. So I have a company that's working on it with me. I'm spending some money just because I'm concerned, and I'll have my lot surveyed. It'll be done this week because we believe that the actual spike is in the driveway by the Wells house.
Okay.
So we'd have multiple different issues if this was to happen, but it's just such a narrow path. You know, and like I had stated, I had spoke to people about buying property, and Barry even told me that it wasn't, he said it wasn't usable. It was used as a horse path by Jefferson. So, you know, if it ends up happening, it ends up happening. I just have severe concern on what's going on, how it's going to happen, and all of that.
Appreciate you doing the survey. I think that is very important, and you know from the engineer's notes that were produced for last week's meeting that there was some concerns of the same type.
Correct.
So I think they're working with their engineer. They asked not to be here tonight, and we favored that because they are on vacation. And
Well,
so
good.
moving forward from there.
I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm working on this, and I do really want to be involved. And Scott would have been here tonight, but he's out of town on business. Scott Wells, the person
He
who's
he
driving
had
that.
emailed me
Yeah,
with his
he said he was
questions.
going to.
Yep. I just got the email about 7:30.
So, we're working together on this, so he's as concerned as I am.
And we live,
Tell her your name.
Debbie Kenyon, Town of Lake Mills, W8429 Shorewood Meadows Circle. We live in this cul-de-sac, and we have, our yard is constantly wet. And we knew from our neighbors when we moved in that we had that problem. My husband is concerned what this is going to do to us. Because I asked Mr. Helverson when he built the house next door to do something for us, and he refused to. So Jeff and I we have had a sump pump put in with backup and everything in our yard. Is just a mess when we have rain. And my husband is so concerned what is going to happen. He would be here, but he's out of the country. The other thing is, I don't know if Mike brought this up, but I was there when they were building Wells' home and going down the driveway, and I saw the man killed and med flighted away, and that was not a good thing. And it was a pretty narrow driveway.
Which one is for you? What address?
One's right next to it. Oh, her address.
8429 Sherwood Meadows Circle.
Oh, this one.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys coming tonight and expressing your opinions. You know, we're all a little on edge about what is proposed for that area. We're trying to give him a fair hearing and to establish what he would like to do within our ordinances. And we got to go forward from here. But I do appreciate it. I think it's really important that you know where your boundaries are and that they have an idea of what they're working with. Because you know full well that they were doing this from aerials and they are not very accurate as far as actual boundary lines go. Anyone else would like to speak to the board in public comment or questions? Dexter, I'm thinking maybe that you should give us your report at this point in time.
Okay, Dexter Shipley. I am representing Northwest Services. We've been doing the patching in the town of Lake Mills. With me only being in Lake Mills about 3 days a week and running the crew, it's been slowly but surely getting done. The weather doesn't help if there's any sign of rain. We can't really patch because the patches won't hold up. So we've been doing our best to work around the weather. So far we have gotten Airport Road, Newville, Cemetery, Rock Lake Road, and North Crogville done. We are starting on Shorewood. Well, the next day that we were able to patch, we started on the hill at the intersection of Shorewood and B. And we started to work our way up, and then we got rained out, so we went and over to Crossman Road by daybreak and filled in that, I guess, washout that was really bad that was going down into the culvert. So we filled that in so there shouldn't be any more stone washing out down there.
It's all weather dependent, isn't it?
It is.
Ron, Mr. Bennett, who was here last month, asked Dexter to come and give us a report.
Yeah, right, yeah, because we've been having phone calls.
Yep, I
They're
have.
out there, so.
I had
I
someone
said-
call today about
They're
East
out there,
Crowville
they're out
Road.
there, because I've been seeing you, or I haven't been seeing you do it, I just see where you've been, so.
Yeah. it's-
What about Fayetteville Road? Are we gonna wait for the city to do that? There's a couple of nasty ones on there.
Oh, no, I had a complaint last night and I think I put it on his list.
Okay, all right.
He had a ton of asphalt after that storm came through and I said, I think the best place to go to get rid of it quickly was Crossman.
Yep. We,
So-
it was probably about 1:40 as we finished up our first load, which a load is about 4 tons or 4,000 pounds, 2 tons. And that was North Crowville Road, which I have one place to finish for the most part, and that road will be completely done. It looks like I'll have to cut out a chunk of the road because it just is peeling up. I think Hope drove by it and it was kind of bad. We're digging out as much as we can of the loose stuff so the pothole or the patches last longer so it doesn't just wash away the old road. We're trying to get a solid foundation for it to adhere to.
Right, yeah.
I asked him to not spend too much time on these areas that really need to be saw cut and backfilled with a ton of asphalt, to work on the potholes and move forward. I did have a lady call and complain that we maybe were leaving too much debris in the ditches for our mower.
Okay,
So-
yep, that is, we try to send out a group of 1 or 2 guys when it has the rainy days or I'm not around to go through and.
Clean that up, right?
Yep,
All right, appreciate it.
yep.
Just keep him in mind as he mows, and he is mowing right now.
We did have a call for 2 potholes on East Crowville Road. Is that on the list?
It is on the list.
Okay.
And that we started on the north side of town with the Trek 100. So that was the Cemetery, Rock Lake, and Newville.
Working your way around.
And then working our way down. Definitely trying to get the higher populated areas such as Shorewood because there's so much traffic and driving that to go into town just about swallowing my truck whole. They definitely.
Oh, come on, it's not that bad.
We go in on S, so we don't.
I don't drive Short Hills Road anymore.
That's really smart, because that really is a good thing, because it is
It's
not
awful.
safe on Shorewood Hills Road.
My tire went boom.
It has nothing to do with the potholes either. I appreciate you taking the lead, Dexter, and helping him because he's new in our community. I appreciate you taking the lead and being so responsible for helping us get this done. You keep working with me and keep that list going.
Yep.
Glenn told me today about the culvert up on Rock Lake Road that he saw. He was mowing, that's our mower. And so we have some other culvert action to discuss as we go forward.
Yep, and then there's the one on that I had mentioned to you about before you went up.
Cool Road.
Yep.
Okay, Sharon and I discussed that. We're gonna look at that.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Could you do something about the weather now?
Yeah.
All right, you work on that. Thank you. All right, anybody else have a public comment or question they want to ask? Thanks a lot. Item 8, application reviews. Item A, discussion and decision on an application for a variance for a less restrictive setback of a first floor addition at 398 Sandy Beach Road for John Wright. Welcome.
I'm supposed to stand here because there's a mic.
That'd be really nice.
I am John Reich, and I'm here representing myself and my wife Pam. We're at 398 Sandy Beach Road. And we have plans to tear our house down as much as we can, as much as we're allowed, and put up a new home with essentially 2 or 3 goals. One is, the primary goal is to put our master bedroom on the ground floor rather than the second floor, so we don't have to continue to climb the 16 steps during the downhill slide into our decrepitude. And the second main reason is to move our garage, which is currently on the west side of our house, with garage doors facing to the west, that requires us to drive between our house and the lake shore, curl around our house, and then come into the driveway. Our plans are to move that garage to the east side of the home so that at the end of Sandy Beach Road, we turn right in rather than having to go in front of the house and come around. And that does a couple of things for us as well. It makes the road safer. Right now, there are a lot of people that consider my yard to be the cul-de-sac at the end of Sandy Beach Road. And they drive past my house to do a U-turn or a Y-turn or whatever they can, a K-turn, and they do it many times very unsafely. I've got 3 granddaughters now that are at my house regularly, and I'm concerned for their well-being as automobiles come down past my house to do that. The other thing that is nice here is if you look at those photos, those overhead photos that I got from the Jefferson County land information system on the web, it's tough to tell, but my yard right now has, I just did a rough measurement and area calculation. It's between 5,500 and 6,000 square feet of asphalt in my yard, which represents approximately 50% of the total square footage of my lot. My lot by the town tax records is declared as 0.280 acres, which is 12,200 square feet. And I've probably got 6,000 square feet of that in asphalt. And I don't like it. I'm allowed, I can park 12 cars in my yard, all on blacktop, and we want to, as a part of this, when we don't have to do the turnaround anymore, we're going to tear all that up and turn it into green space of some sort, and that's going to, with our plans and the square footage that we want to do on the first floor of the footprint, it would take us to about 75% permeable surface rather than 75% impermeable. We've got a few problems. It's a non-conforming lot. I've got 206 feet of frontage, 192 feet on the back of my lot along the Glacial Drumlin Bike Trail. My lot is, I think it's 107 feet. These are from, I don't have those dimensions on the drawings here, but they're from surveys that we've got. 107 feet on the east side, but on the west side, my lot goes all the way down. The back line is only 30 feet from the lake. So I know that the DNR requires, so I'm on one of these non-conforming lots, as are all the lots on Sandy Beach Road, non-conforming by today's requirements. If my lot were platted today, I don't think I'd be allowed to build a house on it. If you look at the 75-foot line, and on one of the photos that you've got, I traced the 70 or 75-foot line, whatever it is. Out of the 12,200 square feet that I've got on the lot, 660 would fall outside that line, a little triangle way in the back. So what we're asking is variances. We've already got a variance that was given by the county back in the late 80s for a 10-foot variance to build the garage that was added then and a deck from the rear lot line. We'd like to keep that. My house, the east wall versus the east lot line is currently about 4 or 5 feet. I don't have exact measurements. My next door neighbors, Bill and Linda Hawkinson, they're the only neighbors that we have. We've got, it's all public land on the west side of us. They've got a setback of, I don't recall, it's either 6.5 or 6 3/4 feet from their lot line, the lot line between us, and they've asked us that we would at least do the same. So we think that's a good idea. Right now, I can stand between our homes and I can almost touch our two houses this way. There's just a couple more feet, full wingspan. So we'd like to request the same setback that they've got, 6.5, 6.75, whatever that detail is. And then we'd like to keep, right now, the closest point of our house to the lake is measured, just by tape measure with me, roughly 33 feet. I'd like to keep that same setback, and you can see from, on most of those photos that you've got, I've drawn a 33-foot line, just very rough. This is not surveyor quality stuff, but roughly 33-foot line all the way across the yard based on how far it is from the lake. And we're going to try to fit, that takes up, that takes up over half the lot because of the shoreline there. But in the remaining triangle there that is outside that 33 feet is where we're going to try to put the footprint of our house. The current footprint of the house is roughly 1,100 square feet. That's the livable space in the house. I've got an 18 by 20 foot garage, which is pretty tiny. And we're asking, we want to add about 550 square feet of that on the ground floor for a master bedroom suite to move that down. That's the gist of what we're asking for.
You guys have any questions? I think this is very similar to the case that was just handled a year ago down the road. And you know that I think they requested 3 variances too.
I wasn't.
I do think that
didn't know the details.
one of the deals that was really important at the variance level with the Board of Adjustment was the impervious and non-pervious pavement. So I think that's going to work in your favor. And I don't know how they will view the existing variance from 1980.
Okay.
I don't know how they will view that. But I don't see anything that much different from the case we handled last summer as far as variances go. Safety-wise, I think it's a really good move for you to get rid of that cul-de-sac, because I think that is a kind of a scary thing, especially with what is planned at Sandy Beach in the next few years.
Yep.
I think it would be very good for you to utilize that property in a different way. I don't know how much opposition you are going to have from the city upon your improvements, but you are aware of that factor.
Yeah, I don't know what the process should be. I know that we fall in the City of Lake Mills growth area.
Extraterritorial area. Been months, years, and days since we've had an extraterritorial meeting. But I think once you leave this room, I'm assuming that you will have approval tonight, that you should work carefully with the county and go through that process and see then where that all spills over.
Okay, it's my understanding, Hope, that the city issues with this extraterritorial agreement, they issue the building permit. And I assume that maybe it's a bad assumption that all the zoning and variances and so forth would still be town and county, and then would come the time when I have to start worrying about building permit. Okay.
If there, go ahead, Jim. No, go ahead.
Just one other thing on this letter, if you're gonna continue to use this, I think you'll wanna change your, reduce the side yard setback from 9 feet, you say, but actually, to increase the side yard.
Yeah,
Side
Mr.
yard
Hines,
setback.
when I first read the letter there, this is the letter that was created by the county. I was a little concerned that what we're asking for and what they put in the
Right.
letter here is not really the same thing.
Correct.
Yeah, so,
So you wanna get
Point
this
taken.
corrected.
Make sure that that they have that correct information.
yep, okay.
In order not to have any surprises as you work through this process, I think you should be asking the county and asking the city for the same things at the same time, so that they understand what you're proposing here.
Okay,
And then if you need help from this board, you will have it.
all right, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You guys have any more questions?
No.
One. So Jim, the letter states one thing. The copy of the action form that goes to the county, is this stated correctly in there?
I think that's correct, but the
Okay.
cover letter is wrong.
Okay.
So you better make a note of that, John, and cover that with, who that author of that letter is,
Lindsay.
Lindsay. She's pretty new at her job, too.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, make sure you do that. Then I would make a motion to approve the application for a variance for a less restrictive setback for a first floor addition for 398 Sandy Beach Road for John Wright.
Second.
Is there any more discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of approving the variance application, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
We'll work together as you go forward. I think your planning has paid off.
Great, thanks. We love going to town board meetings, but we've got other stuff to do, so we're vacating right now.
They're busy people.
He's got to go home and get up the stairs to bed. I know him. Thank you very much. It's always a learning experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Item B, discussion and decision on an application for conditional use request for a dog kennel in an existing A1 zone near Sandy Beach, near W9122 London Road, made by Gregory and Sarah Heidemann. Thank you, Sarah, for appearing.
I'm actually Lindsay.
Okay.
I'm Lindsay Shenley at W9122 London Road. My parents own the back half of the building, or the farm, we own the front. So I am asking for permission to start a dog daycare and boarding in an existing building on our property. You guys can see the drawing with what I'm asking. We would be extending just a daycare area outside playtime. The rest of it would be in the existing building that's already there. I do have a different drawing. The Plan Commission Board asked that it was a better drawing for where we would be having the driveway. It's already an existing driveway with the parking lot at the end. That wasn't really in the picture that well, so that's just a better idea of where we're gonna have parking lot with the main entry and the existing driveway.
And we have not heard anything from any of your neighbors.
I did talk to London Lodge and they had no bad stuff to say. They were totally for it when I talked to them, so they said they might even have to use me sometimes, so.
Apparently you have a lineup of customers.
I guess so.
I'm gonna just throw this out.
Yeah.
What happens if we do begin to have troubles with sound, noise, or customers?
It's really far off the back of the road. It's gonna be an insulated, the building's wide open right now. We're gonna lower the ceiling, put insulation in there, so it'll be very insulated and it'll be quiet. It won't be loud at all. I don't think anybody will really be able to hear it.
If we do have troubles, then we're gonna have to make some modifications.
Right, and that'd be fine.
But I think at this point in time, we had a case like this come before us a year ago in a very urban area, and we denied it.
Okay.
There is no doubt that there is need for this within our community. I just think you have to be constantly aware of keeping the rest of your neighbors happy as you
Right.
go forward.
Right.
You guys have any comments or questions?
You still have, you raise pigs there too also,
Correct.
right?
Yep, in the front of the farm.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
They're probably noisier than dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. I was just gonna say that. They're definitely noisier than the dogs would be.
It's a rural area.
Yeah.
All right?
You mentioned that you're gonna bag all the feces and stuff.
Yep.
You have a private hauler, or are you just gonna put that in the town's garbage or what?
In the town's garbage double bagged.
So you're not afraid that you're gonna fill up one of those containers every week? I don't know how much, no?
No,
Okay, it
no,
won't be that much?
no.
Here again, another thing to keep track of, We we didn't really intend that our garbage pickup would control or be responsible for commercial use.
Right,
So I think as you grow, you'll need to keep an eye on that.
okay.
Would there be a disease issue if you just added to the storage facility of your pig facility? I mean, and they'd just be hauled out to the field with the rest of the stuff.
I don't know.
I mean, it's A1.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I don't know.
Food for thought.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like you're gonna violate animal units with
Right.
20 dogs.
Right,
you know,
right.
And 3 or 5 cats or 6 cats.
Yeah.
We do not have a motion, do we?
No, I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit for, you want it for Gregory and Sarah.
You can, well, they technically own it, so I don't know the best way to.
That's who's on here.
Yeah, I don't know the best way to, because both of our names are on the application. So I don't know technically if it would be mine or theirs, but,
The other petitioner.
right, and they own
They're
it,
the
so.
For the
Yeah.
Heidemans, let's put
Perfect.
it.
Slash Shenleys, because we're the Shenleys, but yes.
And I think it's important to have in there the 20 dogs and the 4
Dogs and
cats.
4 cats.
Yep.
I will second.
Now, is there any more discussion?
20 dogs, you're gonna need more cats.
All in favor of approving the conditional use for the Heidemans on London Road, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Thank you for providing
you.
us with this. Thank you very much, you guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Think about the manure.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
that's,
That's a good
yeah,
You got a field right behind.
right.
And I
And
understand
that's
what
where
you,
we put our pig manure.
I understand what you're trying to do, you know, but still, it's, you know, you got 35 acres right behind you.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Across the road or something, so.
Yeah, they got plenty of land to put it
Yeah,
on. so.
is that, would that be like a technical thing to do? Like, is that like you think an okay thing to do?
Yeah.
That's why I told her, let's throw out in the field, and she's like, nah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that's, we're just gonna throw the poop out back, like, that sounds bad, but,
It'll be fine.
No, I think that is the best, most ecological way to deal with that.
okay,
The
perfect.
horse farm that we have on County Highway S has such limited acreage that they have a dumpster there that they are forced to use to remove that
Okay,
because they have no land to spread it on. So you
Right.
have room for
You
that.
have plenty of space.
And that would be a much more ecological way than to burden our landfills.
perfect.
No, good.
Aren't you glad we had this dog poop talk? All right, thank you very much, you guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Item C, discussion and decision on an application for a variance for reducing the frontage, of the public right-of-way. This is the Schwarz issue, and we will be tabling this tonight and going back to this next month. I'm assuming that they will be coming to the planning committee with more solutions, and they are at this time working with our engineer, Corey, from R.A. Smith. And I know there was an email chain going back and forth. Rick has agreed to pay for that service, as it is not a burden on the town. It's his problem to figure this out. So we're still working on it. I don't know who you're working with. Just what we need is another engineer in this
You just
shed.
have a surveyor coming out
I have
there
a
to do the
surveyor and
corners.
then I have an engineer.
All
Oh,
right.
you do, okay.
About the wetland, because there's topography that's just aerial.
Yes, and you know the questions we asked him, so we'll go back to that.
I'm more worried about the ditch because it drains my field behind there.
Well, you saw it. I'll let you feel.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna leave that on the
Whoops, now you know who
table.
to blame, right?
That's the little
So it's
corner
already
of
been on the
land
table?
that,
Yeah.
Carl used
Okay.
up in the.
You were correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Me and Carl visit under the trees there.
Oh, okay.
All right, item D, discussion and decision on an application for a special event for the Cambridge Community Activities Program for the Lake Ripley Ride to be held on July 27th, 2019, which will utilize town roads. Is there someone here from the? No. Are they available by phone? That's how we've been handling those things.
There's a phone number here,
Okay.
so
do
if we have questions.
Yeah, if we have any questions, we can ask. This, again, is a ride that has been done here many times.
When they're usually always pretty tidy. They are right behind him cleaning up all their stuff,
So, you're gonna motion that?
Yep, I will. I'll
You're
make a
gonna
motion to approve the Cambridge Community Activities for their special event to be held on July 27.
Second motion.
Is there any more discussion on this?
Nope, they're all in order. Everything's there.
Got that? You want that?
Matt, you have anything you want to say?
No, I'm
All
good.
right, thank you. All right, there's a motion on the floor to approve the Lake Ripley ride on July 27th, 2019. All in favor of approving this, please say aye. Aye, and all opposed, the same sign.
All right.
Ride is approved. Item 9, old business. Item A is the discussion and decision on the snow removal contract. For some reason, Mr. Forrest did not want to appear in front of the board tonight. We discussed the contract at 7, the two of us, and what I had asked him for. I'm pushing him for a 3-year contract, and I have asked him to consider making a plan to talk about alternative methods of snow removal, including salt brining. He, as the contract reads, he would have 3 years to implement that program. I told him tonight that he had plenty of information to take in, think about, and work through. We said that we would put this back on our agenda in the next 3 months so that he has a contract as we go into winter of 2019. Encouraging him to give us a 3-year contract. So that's where that's at. Item B, discussion and decision on revisions and amendments to town ordinances regulating speed limits and abandoned vehicles. Does anyone have a copy of the abandoned vehicle ordinance?
It's the one that was in last month's packet.
And where the heck is it? Because I don't have it on my computer or...
Yeah, I've searched the towns too, and I haven't seen, do you know,
Jim Colgrove
Who worked on
may
that?
have it.
I did, I wrote it. Or
You wrote
ripped
this
it
one?
off and wrote it. Ripped it off from someone. You have corrections, Jim?
Yeah, I stated them last meeting, right? Did you write it
Yep.
down?
Yep, I've
You
got
can
it.
have this.
Well, give me this and I will put this back together because I don't have it ready for tonight. So you've made some comments on here and we do not have a copy of it anywhere on our...
Not a functioning draft that we can.
So I guess that's what I will put together for next month and get this off the list.
I would check with Jim. He just may
No,
have
he
it.
didn't. He didn't do any of that. This was dated, I don't know, but it's not in my computers. I can check with Jim Colgrove, but that was done long before, long after he left.
I even went back through emails to see if we by
Yeah, I
chance
can't find
emailed it
it
to
anywhere.
Sarah, and there was nothing.
So I guess we gotta wait on that one too. Item 10, A, discussion and decision on proposed all-terrain vehicle and utility terrain vehicle route ordinance. I don't know where we're at here. Kurt, you wanna give a little update? Since you're the draftee of this ordinance?
I don't know if he is.
No, yeah, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
Not really. Kurt, here's the, I don't know, did you get a copy at all, the one that we have?
Not the one that you said you made some changes on.
Yeah.
So are we gonna read through the whole thing tonight, or?
Well,
I guess,
I think
my
that-
name's Kurt Orcutt, I live on W8696 County Road B in the town of Lake Mills. And I'm not trying to get the roads opened up in the township so that people can be out running around recklessly. I'm trying to get it so that it makes sense for people that wanna enjoy the county and the township areas. We got a beautiful township and, you know, we let motorcycles ride on it, we let bikes ride on it, and we'd like to be able to have ATVs and UTVs on it. I guess I had an ordinance that I had gotten from the Quad County Runners. It was an ordinance, I believe, was from the town of Waterloo that we had changed to the town of Lake Mills, and we sent it off to you guys 2 months ago now for your guys' opinions on what you think would be allowable in the township. So I guess if you guys wanted to let us know what changes you'd want made to it or what you guys are thinking.
Well, I think we're gonna work on it, and we're gonna work on it tonight, right here. Because Dave put together, or had this one, which I understand is from the town of Lowell.
Yep, the majority of it is, yeah. Not all of it is, but the majority.
And this is the first time, you know, this started before I got on the board again, but, so I'm trying to do a little catch up, and I got the ordinance that you sent from Portland, Waterloo, Milford, and a few others. I read through those, and the one that I really liked and thought would be the best fit for the town of Lake Mills was town of Milford's, because it had the things that I was concerned about. But then Dave, and of course we can't talk outside this meeting, so this is the first time we're discussing it. So that's where I'm at, town of Milford, in combination with the one that Dave put together, or has here, because I like some of the things in this one, like basically the conditions. And we just put, my opinion is we just put some of these conditions in the town of Milford's, change the town of Milford, town of Lake Mills, and have a draft ordinance. That's where we're at. So I don't think we're there yet, but, and I know Dave just got town of Milford's tonight. So.
Yeah, and I have it in the email that you had sent and looked through it. Bill, when we were talking on the phone, you had mentioned that the town of Milford's, you had felt that there was some things that were not legal in here.
Yeah,
Did I hear you right?
Because we got a meeting with them Thursday night again to talk about that.
And what, do you have a copy of it in front? What part were you questioning in there?
They have it where they want to mark every road, with the route sign.
Okay.
Every road that we would use. And I don't see anything in there where they have, where you exit the town, a no ATV sign.
Okay.
So that's what I'm concerned. If they want to mark every road, it's, you know, they passed that Act 193 to eliminate that.
Right.
You know, so they're not filling the ditches. I think it's like 30 poles that they want to put. And we counted the town roads exits, or actually the entrance, about 10. So, and it's about $3,700 to do that. It's kind of outdated. It was a law, that's what we had to do originally, mark every road that you're going to use. And in our cases, when we started this, we just used certain roads that we needed. And then as people contacted us, say, hey, I live over in this road and we need to get to a route, then we added that road. So when they passed that Act 193, it's just simple. The whole reason for it, you know, it's just because you guys, you really want to put a pole in every ditch.
Yeah,
you know?
there's enough.
No, that's crazy. So that's one thing, and so I don't see it, and that could add another $1,000, it could be close to $5,000, and you know, $5,000 would be better spent on the town than it is on those signs. So we got to talk about that with them. I don't really care. We're hoping that the hours, you know, they got a curfew, and we've been endorsing that they follow all the other townships, like Waterloo. Waterloo and Lowell is, I think it's almost 100% the same.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of looking at too, was the times, you know.
Yeah, and that's what the county has, midnight till 6 a.m. And I think every township we have is similar, so everybody knows how it complicates things.
Right.
We don't have the county has a 35-hour speed limit. That's it started way back when this Pete Thompson. He was throwing every wrench he could at us, hoping we'd go way back 4 years ago. And you don't have a machine, and you put that in there, thinking that's a good thing. It sounds good. It's actually, the state don't recommend it. They don't have that in their state statutes, so we won't. If they want that, they'll have to fund those signs, or somebody in the town will have to buy them. But we consider it a safety thing. I think. Other than that, they have a 1-year probation too. We got to come back in a year. You have the right any time if this is a problem, you know. And it hasn't been nowhere. We had they gave you the card. The sheriff, he's kind of rec patrol in Dodge County. Speak at our meeting last night. And also me and Artie just came to the meeting. And so far in Dodge County, I'm guessing I don't know because it's all town roads, maybe 700 miles. And we've been riding, and they had one incident where the farmer. Was pulling an implement, and a UTV passed him on the right in the ditch. And he was mad. So that was one complaint. There was a guy in Reesville that was speeding. They caught him and one in Waterloo. So it hasn't been, they said there hasn't been no trouble.
Right.
So,
But Jim was right on this, we have to start someplace, so, you know, so then you just start picking and choosing.
Yep. I don't have a problem with what you said, other than the speed limit thing, and we'll talk about that one, but, as far as the, signs, I agree, it's in the state statute that if you open up all your roads, you only have to put the signs at the entrances to your town,
Yes.
which is fine with me, I don't have a problem with that at all. I think that's the right thing to do, because we don't want signs, but then if you add the speed limit thing, then that's another issue, then you would have to put that on roads. Unless, I don't know if you can put that on the sign entering the town that says roads are 35 miles per hour, and just do it there.
that's kind of a problem, and Ira Peterson from the DOT, you know, he works for the state, but when they passed that law, the politicians, they kind of maybe forgot one thing, that those signs are on the border of the town, so basically nobody other than the automobile traffic will see those signs, because the four-wheeler or ATV or UTV wouldn't be on those roads unless it's coming from another town. Now, in the case of the town of Waterloo, I'm not sure if it's Newville Road, it goes on the interstate, comes up to the lake, that'd be about the only road, because we don't have anything else around. So an ATV, UTV wouldn't see those signs, they would know that your township is open. And basically, they're informational signs, it's for the automobile traffic to let them know that there's ATVs, UTVs using your roads. So if you could put one there, but if you put the speed limit sign on the border of town exit or entrance roads, the machines wouldn't see that.
Yeah, and I was at when you presented at Watertown, I was at that meeting that night, and I brought that concern up too, but well, yeah, because your presentation was based on UTVs, and I don't have a problem with UTVs going 45 miles per hour. I do have a concern with ATVs. They're just different machines. And I've been riding a long time too up north, and we ride on roads, and the UTVs, I'll be going 30, because up there in Jackson County, Clark County, it's 35 miles per hour when you get on town roads. And all their roads are signed 35 miles per hour. But UTVs, and there are some ATVs that they go 50, 60 by.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I mean, it's gonna happen. But they're just not as stable on blacktop as a UTV. That's my concern. And they have tendency to roll over on corners and things. And I know there's only been like eight deaths or something in the state, and they were not wearing helmets, which is another thing. So, but that is a concern of mine. But I guess they can twist my arm and maybe I get rid of that.
Very good point, and we know that. It's kind of odd, you know, because they are kind of two different machines, and they're coming out now. Hopefully they'll pass in soon, because I call it a safety issue, actually, these soft tires, and because they are soft, you know, they got such tremendous traction. You turn too quick, and you know they go ahead and tendency to flip. So you got to drive. I think it's Lincoln County and part of other counties in the state where they say, hey, listen, Grant County made a pull out the signs just to get the. You got to drive to your ability. You know, I said before, if there's 6 inches of snow out there, you're going 55 miles an hour and sliding the ditch, you're going too fast for conditions. So you should be aware of that also. You gotta. I don't know how many ATVs would be in there. We were finding up in Dodge County, there's so many more UTVs, so, you know, where do you go?
Yeah.
That.
And as far as the hours, I just don't understand that at all myself. I just let them run 24 hours a day, but I don't see what the point of this.
I know, Jeff spoke, the only one that was important, he said, guys, he said, if that was so important, it should be in the state statute.
Yeah.
You know, and it ain't, and they said, you know, they went strictly with the state statute. And the DNR last night said, we'll only enforce the rules that the state statute has. A sheriff can, in this case, the sheriff up there was half DNR and half sheriff of Dodge County, and so he's kind of, Dodge County put on their rules 35, but, so how do you enforce that?
And then, Bill, that's true too, but you know, when the DNR, even on hunting rules, the township can have different rules from the DNR, but you have to have your own police
Yes.
department to enforce that, because the county is only gonna support what the DNR rules are, so probably what you're saying is true, but we have our own police force, so. And the thing is that you cannot be less restrictive, but you can be more.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I don't know. And as far as miles per hour, I know it'd be easy just, our town is 45, otherwise where it's posted. But I guess when I saw that going through a lot of the ordinances, we kept seeing this 35 miles picking up. And then kind of pay attention to what we usually do. We have ATVs and UTVs. And usually end up going 35 miles an hour. 30, 35 miles an hour. That's about what you usually, but then again, I'm not in a hurry. I'm on a mission, but it's not like I want to hurry up and get there. I'm just out cruising, so I don't know. And I can understand the difficulty of, cars doing 45 and UTVs and ATVs doing 35, but I don't know. I find it comfortable. That's why.
That's right, you're true, and that's right. And that's why it's kind of odd that the county would have that, and Dale Schmidt-Smoke and the Towns Association, and all the Dodge County, all the towns were there, 24 of them. And he told them, guys, he said, follow the state statute. And then it's odd, and it's the same cop that actually has a 35-mile speed limit on their county roads. It's kind of ass backwards. It's like, if I'm on a county road, there's a semi. And we only use those county roads for short distances. We're working on old ones for the county now, don't know where it's going to go, but get on that road and then get off it.
All right, yeah. Just to another township road is all.
Yeah, I feel the state, when they did this law, screwed up myself, but, because they should have made it 35, because you pull on a county road, you can only go on a county road if it's 35 or less.
No.
Unless, right now,
No, that's not true at all.
the statute reads that you can't,
No.
unless the county passes the ordinance. The
Right.
town has no control over a county road within their municipality.
Yes.
And the only way a UTV or ATV can be on that road if it's 35 miles per hour.
If
Or
you
less.
got a county road that you got jurisdiction over, that's true.
We don't have, yeah.
Right, then it's not true. But on a county road, and that has to go through, we gotta go through the county.
Yeah, right.
And
That's what I'm saying.
55.
So you have jurisdiction when we come down Rock Lake Road to Highway B at the north end of the lake.
Yes.
It's 35 there. So you guys have the right to say, yes, that county
Well,
road can be used to the city limits.
It's legal by state statute to have an ATV use that road, that county highway. It's in our municipality, even though the county has not approved it, they can run on that road in that 35 mile per hour zone. But county highway, if you come off Sherwood Hills Road onto B,
There's
it's
200
40 miles per hour.
No.
So
You
it's
can't.
not 35. So you can't get anywheres from, on Highway B.
We'd have to go to the county to get that.
Yeah, you'd have to get your
So
county
the
road.
reason that we were asking about Sherwood Hills Road is we know the farm that has a field road that goes from the end of Sherwood Hills around to my property, basically, around what Dave rents.
Mhm.
And we have talked to Beth, and Beth has said you can use that field road. So I could get on my ATV without being on Highway B or Highway S, take the trail around, hit Sherwood Hills Road, I could go to my dad's house. My dad could take his UTV, drive around to my house, which gets onto our property, so he can use his UTV in the vineyard.
Right.
So we have reasons that we want it.
Yeah, I
Mine
understand.
is registered for farm use, so I could drive down Highway B and Highway S to go to our farm
Exactly.
at the end of Sherwood Hills Road, which is adjacent to where you rent anyhow. And I'm legal with it. My dad does not have. Oh, okay, my dad does have it now.
It's $15 like that.
So-
I don't think he could get,
Now, is yours just private or is it private AGR?
AG,
Yellow sticker?
yellow stick, yeah.
We've been running up and down the road and go right past law enforcement for 20 years, and we've never been challenged.
Yeah.
But we have yellow stickers on there, and we pretty much stay to the blacktop, unless there's somebody that looks like they're going really fast behind you. Get over and park.
I don't know, I mean, I'm not doing it to open this up to be a
Oh,
reckless
right.
thing, I'm
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
I like it being on my ATV. When we go up north, I like it. It's like riding on a motorcycle. When I was younger, I rode on a motorcycle. Now I got four wheels. I feel safer on the four wheels than I do on the two wheels.
Getting old, but
You know,
And
and
I
I
think-
think it goes back to what you're saying. 2 weeks ago, we rode from the Waterloo by Quick Trip all the way up to Astico. We followed all the roads. The roads are listed on an app on your phone called Ride Command. Any road that you can be on, it marks the roads in blue, so you know what is a legal road to go on within those townships. And there were times that the roads were 45 miles an hour, and we had 6 ATVs out that day. We were going 35 miles an hour tops, because that's what we felt comfortable at, and we were enjoying going along the river all the way up there, and, you know, I think it comes down to what you're comfortable driving, and to take that money and put it into the signs, I don't know if that's really needed for it.
The other comment I have is that if, you know, there's a lot of vehicles, foot traffic, bicycles, there's a lot of stuff on a town road. So the argument that somebody's gonna come flying over a hill in a milk truck going 45 and runs up into a ATV going 35, I don't buy that at all, because the person driving that milk truck has to always be aware of bicycles, horses, people, anything. There's so much, and tractors, and implements. They go 20 miles per hour. That's probably their.
and weigh 50,000 pounds.
But you don't know how many times on the highway that I see Dave and his son coming down the road with their tractor and planters, and you see cars come up on them really fast, and they pull off into the left lane because they came up on them too fast. When a car is coming the other way, I got a perfect straightaway in front of my house that I see that all the time.
Yeah, I know, but
And so, the one with the flow of traffic, I think it's a lot safer.
They put slow lane vehicle signs, slow lane vehicle signs on machines that are going slow, rightfully so, to warn people that machine is going slow. You can see that, and it's a hazard, but that's all the faster they should be going.
Right.
So, you know, to cause somebody else to, you know, I will say one other thing, even an ATV, I think is safer than a motorcycle. They complain about grass blowing up on the road as a hazard. I knew a guy that totaled out his bike after the flood in Hubbleton on Main Street. It's 25 mile an hour Main Street in Hubbleton. And he told the insurance company, he lost it in the sand left over from the flood. Totaled out his bike, he didn't get hurt, but you know, on an ATV, unless you flip it, you got 4 wheels. You know, on a bike, on a motorcycle, don't.
okay.
So what do we want to do, Jim? Do we want to start with one of these and go through them?
Yeah, we got time. We're here all night,
Otherwise,
right?
we'll be nowhere.
Yeah, I think I would like to, you know, object. I'd like to start with town of Milford's, and we can change things. But I think it's more in line with our town of Lake Mills ordinances. I don't understand in the Lowell on all this other stuff about unauthorized operation of motor vehicles and private property. It's like they got 2 ordinances into one here.
I was looking at that, thinking
doesn't
that
make
those
any
were
sense.
definitions.
So, and you don't need definitions, yeah, because it's in the state statutes.
And what is the number on the state statute?
23.338A, well, that's fines. So it starts 23.33 and 23.35, I believe.
You're looking at the Milford one or the one that we sent to you?
No, the state statute.
I'm just talking state statute. Those are state statutes that govern ATV, UTVs. And then there's the, I don't know what it's called, the regulations that the DNR puts out and stuff too, so. So I'm gonna read it, I'm not gonna change to the town of Lake Mills as I read this,
Right.
but, and then we can comment on anything. But section 1 is intent, and the town of Milford, Jefferson County, Wisconsin adopts the following all-terrain vehicle and utility terrain vehicle route for the operation of all-terrain and utility terrain vehicles upon the roads listed in section 3. So I don't have any objection to the way that's worded, other than town of Lake Mills. Following due considerations of the recreational value to connect trail opportunities and weighted against possible dangers, public health liability aspects, terrain involved, traffic density, and history of automobile traffic, this route has been created. So Do you have any objection to the way that's worded? Statutory authority, this is the route is created pursuant to town authority as authorized by section 23.338B Wisconsin statutes. The applicable provisions of section 233 regulating ATV, UTV operation pursuant to routes as adopted. So that's just giving us statutory authority. Routes, now this is where you had a concern, I think, but it says the following roads are designated as routes. All official town roads located within the town of Lake Mills, but only if the road is signed in accordance with section 23.338 Wisconsin statutes. At the time of adoption of this ordinance, there are no roads that are signed. Okay, so is this where you had a concern about signing all roads?
Yes.
Okay, so we can remove that. I don't think, all it has to say is all official towns roads located within the town of Lake Mills, period.
You want to follow that Act 193, and make, because that's what it is. You got a copy of that?
I
You could
don't.
reference it rather than the accordance with section 23.338
So as Act-
and Act 193, you said?
It is.
But,
So now, Bill, what you're really
But-
thinking there is any road that sits within the connecting town road is the road you're talking about. In other words, because like where Rock Lake Road comes to Highway B, you'd have to have a sign. Where Newville Road comes on to Highway B, you'd have to have a sign. Where Crooksville Road enters Highway B, you'd have to have a sign.
No, to the county road, it's the border. It's strictly border.
So we're saying any of our town roads that are up against another township would have to have a sign, and that's it.
That's the way
If you go down
Any town road on the interior, we already know that that's okay.
Okay.
But anybody that's coming into our township will know that that is a road coming into the town of Lake Mills. All roads in Lake Mills will be signed.
so
Will be-
you'd have,
will be
you'd have,
It's,
Hope Lake Road, you'd have Bigelow Road and Highway G on this end.
Yeah.
They would have to have a sign there. And then on the other end, Highway O.
Highway
Belt
O.
Road,
And, yeah.
and then Newville Road, Rock Lake Road.
Right, so there's,
Just the roads that go to an interior,
Right.
to another township.
correct.
Everything else within
Within would not have to.
would not have to have
Yeah,
signs.
that's the way I see it.
Yeah,
It's
so it's
kind of-
minimal signage, minimal cost, yet everybody knows it's open.
it
But-
brought this up to the state, because let's say you came in on O, you know, and because it wouldn't be on O, because you don't have jurisdiction on that county road. And then you turn off of that county road onto a town road. Would there be one there? And I asked our attorney, he said, no, because you don't, that's not the border.
That's not our border.
Right, it's not your border. It's not your township border.
No, it wouldn't be
So right
Highway
now-
O. Well, yeah,
Right now, the example is if you go north on Rock Lake Road, you get to Melissa and Rick Hoffenstein's home. There is a sign right there when you're gonna come into Waterloo that says no ATVs. Going north, you can ride ATVs, going south, you can't. That's our border. That
Yeah,
road would
correct.
have to be labeled
Okay.
ATVs, all town roads accessible by ATV, UTV.
We have done it though, if you want it. We have put in signs, you know, even though it ain't border. So if somebody does come off that hole, we have done it a couple places, but, and some say, well, you gotta put it on O when O comes into your township. And that's a no.
So this
that's
act,
Bigelow Road, isn't it?
Bigelow Road comes off of
193
Highway 18 onto
regulates
Hope Lake Road, is Bigelow.
On the other end, what's with Bridge? London Road goes out to, oh, that's Hope Lake, isn't it?
Yeah, well, then it's Britsky,
Britsky Road, okay.
goes up to
So,
134.
right, so 134, you need a sign there because that's Britsky Road, that's Town Lake Mills. So then you wouldn't need any on London Road, Britsky Road.
Right, so
So-
it's within.
But anyway, I understand that, but I think what this section says, routes, but only if the road is signed in accordance with section 23.338. And this Act 193 references 23.338. So it's based on that. All the signage requirements are in state statute 23.338.
Well, because it happens, when
And
20
it-
passed, that was old, and this is new. So that just passed in 2017, this Act 193. So it was, when the 23.3 came out, originally, that's the way it was. You had to mark every road.
But it's been
But it's in
codified
the-
since and put into,
the state statute.
193.
If you read the state statute today, which I did today, it references that you only need to, if all the roads in your township are ATV, UTV, you only have to sign at the borders. That's what, it's right in there. So I don't have a problem with the way this is written. It refers you back to state statute. Act 193 just clarifies the state statute as far as I know, but
it's been updated, yeah.
yeah, it's been updated. But this was 2017, so
Yes.
the state statute is updated to this act.
But we all are, the understanding is,
Yeah.
we're all interpreting that
You
only
just-
the borders of Lake Mills
Correct.
Township would be signed, everything on the interior would be.
Does not have to be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and then it says at the time of adoption of this ordinance, there are no signs that are signed. I don't think that's needed at all. I don't think- They aren't legal till they are, till you get the signs up. The border signs,
Yes, right. Yes.
so we take that last sentence out.
Okay.
Conditions, then that's where I want to go to Dave's of ordinance, UTVs, and conditions. Starts on about line 24. Pursuant to, got it? Line 24?
Yep.
Pursuant to Section 23.338D Wisconsin statutes, the following restrictions are placed on the use of the ATV and UTV routes. All routes shall be marked with uniform ATV and UTV routes in accordance with NR 64-12-7. Maybe that's,
I got that on my car, that tells you how to sign it.
okay,
Where signs go and.
Okay.
We use that.
okay. Wisconsin Administrative Code. No person may do any of the following in regard to signs marking the town ATV, UTV routes. And every ordinance I read has this language about
Same.
removing, damaging, and all that stuff. So we don't have to read that. That's gonna be in it. All right, then we'll skip down to, operation shall be subject to all provisions of 23.33 Wisconsin statutes, which is adopted as part of this ordinance by reference pursuant to 23.3311 Wisconsin statutes. Then it says, no ATV, UTV may be operated at a designated route between the hours of 11:59 and 5 a.m. daily. Private agricultural operators are exempt from the hours of operation. So there, I guess, we can discuss that. You want it to be uniform? So what's,
Or just open it.
We actually wanted to follow 2333. It comes to be a problem. We did that to give in, because Tony had that, and we couldn't drag the town roads up using the county roads. But I bring up the argument that, let's say the farmer's out and he has a yellow sticker and he's combining at 2 in the morning coming back.
Right.
You know, is he gonna get stopped? And it's like, is it really necessary? It's a little different than the snowmobiles back in the day, because they were riding around the clock and they got 24 hours of snow and it melted. Well, most of us, I mean, there may be a few, I'd like to be in before it gets dark, but not everybody either, but, so it's,
how do you feel about it, Dave? I don't have a problem with taking it out.
I don't have a problem with taking it out. It's just, I thought it probably for the exact same reason you're talking. In order to get it through, they were gonna have to, limit. Otherwise, there is confusion. Matt comes along and sees a UTV come down the road at 1:30 in the morning. He's gonna stop him.
Your lights are going on.
well, right, if he's, we don't want no trouble, and if somebody's drinking in these things and they're drunk, 1:30 in the morning, he's coming from a bar, and he's zigzagging, we don't want that. We can't have it, and you can't have it either.
But they can do that at 10 o'clock in the
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, if you wanna do it, you can do it anytime.
Yeah.
What was the reasoning for them putting the ordinance in? Probably more because of disturbing homes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So I don't think the ordinance of, or the insertion of saying this is your curfews for running it as much as it is noise levels, and we have noise levels on everything. I mean, automobiles have noise levels that you're pulling people over for improper exhausts. So
I just took out line 44, 45, and 46.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, done.
He's got a decimal in 96, so they
I
got.
think the only concern with that is if you guys ride in like groups,
I think it's pretty loud.
usually not just one. So, I mean, if I had a group of 10 motorcycles going around, which make a lot of noise, 10 motorcycles at the same time make a lot more noise. That would be my concern.
Right.
I think that's what they were concerned of. I'm not, I got no opinion in this, but I'm just giving you
Okay.
a little clue. I got no say, but,
Well, we do want your opinion though, Matt.
yeah.
Yeah, you gotta enforce it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying is if, you know, you got 10 ATVs going down the road, are gonna make a lot more noise than if you just had one. And I think that was the only concern is noise. That's the only
So
thing
you're
I
comparing
was.
it to a car dragging one aluminum can behind it.
But if you know, you understand what I mean.
It's, you know, it's true, and that's why they changed that tire law, because the tires make more noise, so we had a guy just go check it. And once he got about 40 miles an hour, the roar of those aggressive tires were just, it sounds like a train coming, especially when you got a group on it.
Sure.
So, and hopefully they get that changed soon, and people, otherwise the machines, the mufflers, you don't hear them run.
Okay, all ATV, UTVs must display a registration sticker. That's
Yes.
true, even agricultural does that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
They gotta have a
Okay.
plate. Well, that's, I did put down a note in there, should say plate, also plate.
Plate?
And license plate.
Yeah, they gotta have a plate
Registration
though.
plate.
They didn't have that in there, just said sticker, and they could have more in the sticker.
I thought that came up someplace else, but yeah, license
The
plate.
license plate has to be on the back. Except for the ag guys.
So I should read registration sticker and registration plate.
License plate.
License plate. And really basically what that is, Robin, is a license plate is, it actually has a registration number on it. That's how they get the number.
Got it. Okay.
In our-
Okay, so then there's the speed limit one, which, what do you feel, Dave?
You know, I hear what they say. In case in point, we drive semi in Illinois and we're 10 miles less than what regular traffic is. You know, and I find that rather irritating. I like 35, and you know why I like 35, but other than that, I have no particular reason, other than it gives, you know, reaction time. I don't know, Jim?
Well, I like 35 too, because of the
Oh.
ATV. If it was just UTVs, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but ATVs, I do have a problem with it.
Hey, my UTV will go 60.
Oh, yeah. So an ATV,
Well, is this something
Yeah.
that if you chose to do 35, it's not marking all roads, it would be on the exterior of the township saying all town roads are 35 to keep down the expense? If that's the way you're going, we'd rather have it be the speed of the road, but
Are most of your roads, are some of your roads 55?
No, all of our town roads are 45 miles an hour unless marked lower.
It's, you know, because we got a lot of towns that are, it's 55 unless it's otherwise posted, you know, state laws, but,
Right.
and we got a lot that are 55, so, but and yet they still didn't go to 35, but it's,
so you can do the speed limit and you let people drive at what they're comfortable under the speed limit or where they can control the machine. Is that a
the
problem?
signs.
I think it should be at 35 unless otherwise posted. So you're not going any faster than 25 miles an hour on Shoreward Hills Road, and you're not going any faster than 10 miles an hour on Park Lane Road.
But a road like Rock Lake Road that was 45,
45 mile an hour road, but 35 miles ought to get you where you need to go.
okay, staying in for now. Operators must abide by all traffic laws and is further restricted by this ordinance. ATV, UTVs may be operated on paved surfaces only unless yielding the right of way. I don't know, is that typical language, unless yielding the right of way? You don't really want them pulling off and going on a shoulder, rolling it over because they're,
Right.
I think though if somebody's coming down the road with a large implement behind a tractor and they have to pull off the road to allow that, I mean, our tractors are wider than they've ever
Yeah, they
been
could-
before, and if they do have to go off the roadway, you don't want them getting a ticket because they've moved out of the way for a agricultural piece or a
Okay.
wide load.
If it helps, it's standard knowledge in that 23.3, everybody knows that, but, so it's kind of weird that they added in there because it's in 23.3, but for some reason they want to add it, I don't know why.
I also saw in some ordinances that they want you to ride on the furthest right of the road.
Yes.
Is that,
We prefer it.
you do?
Well, we do, yeah.
Okay, so then that we should really add that in here, because I don't think it is in here.
It's in there.
Yeah,
is in
I'm
this
pretty
one?
sure
It's in this
there.
one.
It's in that one?
It is in there. They have to ride to the furthest right side of the
Okay.
road. It is in
Haven't
there.
got that far yet. Okay,
You have to sit down and work it out.
Okay, and no ATV, UTVs may be operated on any designated route without fully functioning headlights, taillights, and brake lights. Standard equipment only may be used. No use of additional light bars or other lighting. I really like that. Was that in this, or did?
No, I put that in there because when you
Alright.
said over there doing it.
I was surprised to see it.
No.
Which,
Working on that law too.
And
Yeah, I
the
know
other
they
thing
are.
is
I know
my
they are.
son-in-law has a light bar, and every time he comes up the road, that sucker is blinding.
so they wouldn't be able to use it in the
Right.
town of Lake Mills. They can have them on there, but they can't.
Right.
All ATV, UTV operators shall ride single file. No ATVs, UTVs may be operated on any designated ATV route if the ATV, UTV does not meet all applicable federal noise and air pollution standards. No modified exhausts allowed. No person under the age of 16 may operate an ATV, UTV on any segment of the town road, which is a designated ATV route. Okay, so we're not gonna let 12 years old,
I think you need to
Well-
put a clause in here that says you must have a driver's license.
well,
It's
that's
in the
down
other-
later.
It's
That's
down
It's
later.
in the other part, but I think it needs to be reworded.
No person under the age of 18 may operate an ATV, UTV on any designated route unless wearing approved protective headgear. Any passenger under the age of 18 must wear protective headgear. Every person who operates an ATV, UTV on a segment of the town roads which is designated as an ATV route shall have in his or her immediate possession a valid, motor vehicle operator's license. And it says, and be compliant with DNR licensing, which I don't.
Yeah, that can be taken out because that's already stated further back.
And shall display the license document upon demand from any law enforcement officer or official described in Wisconsin statutes.
What's the compliant DNR licensing, what are they referring to in that, do you know?
I think what that is, if you're under the age, well, is it
12.
12, and if you have a certification, I think that's what it kind of
ATV
refers to.
safety certification, you
Yeah.
can ride on a road.
And under 90
That's been
cc.
taken out?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
taking out.
Yeah, taken out,
Not gonna allow 12-year-olds on the roads.
yeah.
They have to be 16.
16.
They have to be accompanied by adult anyway,
Right.
even if they have a certification, so. I was gonna talk
So
about
can I ask a
that.
question on that?
Yeah,
So when we went up north, we ride, and I had 2 kids with myself, so I'm 1 adult, and you're supposed to tow the kids behind you if they are under the age of 12. They can be on the roads being towed with the machine off. So I made a tow bar so I could hook both kids up to mine, one behind the other, and tow them. They weren't operating their machine steered off my machine, their machine was off. They could operate the brakes to slow me down if they thought I was going too fast. Is that something that is allowed in here? Because you're saying you're not allowing them to operate under 16.
I'd say no.
And you're modifying that equipment. I think that's a safety concern.
Okay.
I guess these are
My
questions.
kids are getting old enough now that I don't have to worry
You have
about
to
it.
drag
They're
them
saying
around.
that
they under 12?
They were under 12 at the time.
Okay, yeah.
And then
Even
once they
now
got to
it's-
12, once they got to 12, they could drive their own machines.
Correct.
With me being there,
If they had
and they were in
safety.
control of it because they had their certificate through the DNR.
And that's allowed up north because there's a lot of off-road trails.
Right.
And they're, they aren't on public roads that often, you're more on trails.
Right.
Occasionally on a,
Well, like
But
if you
here
go
you're
through
gonna-
Hatfield or something like that, there's
Right.
a long distance that you're
yeah,
on
there
roads
is.
there.
And you're on a state highway too.
Yep, state highway, 35 miles an hour, 12-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, I've been on that one a lot. Anyway, so we're gonna require 16 with a driver's license. Right?
Yep.
Owner must have liability insurance on an ATV, UTV, I don't know. Wanna leave that in there?
I do.
Okay. So that's the conditions that I would like to have in the town of Milford's. And then, from then on, they talk about signage here.
I think,
And I don't think that was in town of Milford's.
one thing that I
Maybe it
and
was.
we may want it, may not, but I would like to bring it up, where they have, it could very well be more of a definition. Let's see, here goes more of it. It would be lines 141, 142, and 143.
The unauthorized operation.
Yeah, it shall be unlawful to operate any mini bike, go-kart, golf cart, dune buggy on town roads, alleys, streets, parks, sidewalks, bikeways, parking lots, or any other public lands or private lands and parking lots held within the public. And I don't know, Jim, that's more of a definition, but at the same time, and I don't know, Matt, it might be something for you. It's an ATV, UTV ordinance.
Correct.
But what if somebody does take a go-kart or a dune buggy? You see it up north, which is perfectly legal, so.
Doesn't classify as an ATV or UTV.
You
Okay.
guys have that DNR.
There's actual statutes on the definition.
You couldn't register that with the DNR.
Right.
Right, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that really doesn't need to be there, but I mean, it's up to you guys.
I agree. That's,
I understand what you were concerned about, but
there's one thing, a section signage. I think there is no signage in town of Milford, so that's, I'd like from Dave's ordinance here included. The ATV, UTV club or its succeeding group will be responsible for all costs of ATV, UTV signs on all town roads and for all costs of their proper installation and future maintenance.
So add lines 77 through 79.
Yeah, but take out and speed limit. That's not, it's all signs, not just speed limit signs. That okay?
But you're thinking for speed limit signs, it would be posted at the same sign post on the entrance to the townships, not all.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, that only makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then,
One sign that says, Town of Lake Mills open for ATV, UTV usage.
Speed limit 35
Speed limit
miles an hour.
35 mile an hour. It can be one sign, it doesn't have to be two signs and all wrote together.
That's what the sign will be other than Lake Mills.
So if we had to put on the bottom,
Yeah.
speed limit 35 mile per hour.
That's up to you guys.
okay, so then, those are conditions that would be slipped into the Milford one. Then we'll go back to the Milford one. I think we're done with this.
Under
whole-
conditions under the Milford ordinance, are there any of the conditions listed that need to be kept? Or are they all struck 1 through 7?
Take-
And
take
replaced
out-
with-
Well,
You wanna get rid of 2, right?
yeah, I think we've already done that. If we just,
We got rid of 2,
so riding only
and
allowed.
we have to have the valid driver's license.
Number 6?
Riding only on paved roads.
That's in there.
I don't think you need to have the 1-year probation. If you leave it at that, where it says it can be revoked at any time.
So we're pretty
And then
much,
the 7's out. We already talked about clubs doing that signage.
so basically take the conditions from Dave's draft and put it into the town of Milford's. There's nothing to save currently in the town of Milford's in the conditions.
I believe that's true.
Right.
Okay.
Then we'll go to, well, signage, you want signage in off of Dave's ordinance.
Right.
Put into
Right.
the next section.
And then what about 80 and 81? You wanna leave that one in there too right away?
I think it's in here. But if it's not, we'll hold that as a placeholder for now. Let's
Okay.
finish with Milford's. So we're taking out all of the conditions in Milford's and slipping these in. Enforcement, the ordinance shall be enforced by any law enforcement officer authorized to enforce the laws of the state of Wisconsin. That true? That good? Or,
I like
you like the other one?
the ones where, because the problem is the sheriff's department's not gonna be able to enforce this ordinance. What they would do is they would get a hold of me and then I would issue the ticket through the town, because I only enforce town ordinances. I don't know how we can, I don't think it's terrible, but I mean, it wouldn't matter because they would just forward it to me either way.
They're gonna want a copy of it, but you're right about that, that's.
Yeah, they'd want a copy.
Yeah.
The sheriff wants, I know he
Well,
does.
you like this one better? The ordinance shall be enforced by any law enforcement officer authorized to enforce the laws of the town of Lake Mills?
Yep,
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to add that one
Yep.
instead of this other one. That's,
as a joint number is ordinance.
97 and 98
Okay.
are going in under enforcement. Penalties, Wisconsin State all-terrain vehicle and utility terrain vehicle penalties are found in section 23.3313A Wisconsin statutes and are adopted by reference into this ordinance. And I think that's all we need, because under 23 point, that statute, it's up to a $250 fine for breaking any of these laws. And then it goes into driving under the influence and all that stuff. So those are different fines. Servability, the sections of this ordinance are declared to be servable if any section or portion thereof shall be declared by a court to be, that's just standard language. I think it's good the way it's written. Reserved authority, Town of Lake Mills reserves the right to repeal this ordinance and prevent all use of ATV, UTVs on Town of Lake Mills roads at any time with or without cause. The ordinance is being granted for, okay, that
Yeah.
probationary period, I don't like that.
Strike that.
Take that out.
Which one are you in now? Are you in?
We're
Town
on
of Milford.
Town of Milford, second
Under-
page on the bottom.
Section 8, reserved authority.
Strike like the last two sentences.
So basically, the Town of Lake Mills can revoke this ordinance
Yes, 3.
at any time, with or without cause.
That's automatic, that's
Yep,
your.
right. But we'll take out the probationary period, because that's just plain, that's like they let UTVs for 1 year up in Jackson County, and all of a sudden, you know what happened? 50% of the machines are UTVs in 1 year.
Yes, yes, I know.
Then take it away.
Well, and the only bad part, I think they want us to come back again in a year and then redo the thing again. Is it really
So-
necessary?
We're gonna take all that out in 1 year, March 20th, this ordinance. We're not gonna review it in a year, are we? Repealer, I don't really understand this language, but I'll read it through, see if it makes sense to you people. The provisions of this ordinance, to the extent that they are substantively, the same as those of the ordinances in force immediately prior to the enactment of this ordinance, are intended as a continuation of such ordinance and not as new enactments. And the effectiveness of such provisions shall date from the date of adoption of prior ordinances. In addition, the adoption of this ordinance shall not affect any action, prosecution, or proceedings brought for the enforcement of any right or liability established, accrued, or incurred under any legislative provision prior to the effective date of this ordinance for the time that such provision was in effect, and the repeal of any such provision is stayed pending the final resolution of such actions, including
Thanks a
appeal.
lot.
I think Leverton's got to look at that. I don't even know what that means.
I think that needs to be
Never seen
go
that in
away.
an ordinance.
It might need to go away, because there is no prior ordinance.
Right.
I don't know.
Yep.
And then the ordinance section effective date, the ordinance becomes effective upon passage by the town board, posting of the ordinance, and the erection of required signs.
Yep.
Now, was that, yeah, that was taken care of.
Right, yeah,
Revoking
because-
of any time.
That's in here.
There was one other thing that I wanted to discuss, and I would like, and I don't know, I don't see any agricultural use language in any of these ordinances, but I'm just gonna throw this out there. Section, whatever, we make it, agricultural use. ATV, UTVs legally registered for private agricultural use are exempt from this ordinance. I don't know if that's,
It was in this one.
it was in that one?
Yeah.
All right, I think we need to add that. ATV, UTVs legally registered for private agricultural use are subject to the laws and regulations of the Wisconsin State Statutes, Chapter 23.33 and 23.335, and Wisconsin Administrative Codes, NR 64 and NR 65. I have an exception here. ATV, UTVs legally registered for private agricultural use are restricted to a speed limit of not greater than 35 miles per hour, or the speed limit for the automobiles, whichever is lower, any designated route.
I don't know, do we, because we already have that in there, so.
Well, it's a
Okay,
separate
for the
section for
okay,
agricultural
all right,
use.
okay.
Just clarifying that this is different.
Sure.
But I don't know if it's, I would like it in there, but
That's a good point. I've been telling it, it's a good point because it is different.
yeah,
You know,
they're totally different laws. Because you think, well, the main thing now, because we took out is the 12-year-olds. They can run on agricultural use, they don't have to be 16.
No.
And you're not gonna make them be 16 because state statute allows them to do it.
Right.
So you do have that now, 12-year-olds riding without anything.
They don't need, they don't have the safer thing,
I know.
and they can run on the road.
It's a good point. I mean, Rick Gates got a boy that doesn't have a driver's license, but he farms. And so otherwise he wouldn't be able to drive that machine for farming.
I think it just clarifies it for law enforcement that if they stop a guy, a kid, who's, you know,
Yes,
he better be hauling a bale of hay or a hydraulic hose or something.
Got video, sticker.
Yeah,
And you
or
make
he's
a copy of this here so I can take it to Milford Thursday night. So you have it ready.
I'll need a copy of it too, Jim. Anyways, I can make two.
It would be nice if the townships all talked together and had one ordinance, because it is very confusing when you drive out of one township into the next one.
So
So
maybe
that
the
would be
answer
the
to
ordinance.
that is you should have gone to the county first and asked the county to do it.
No.
Or if they follow the state statute. If everybody followed the state statute, it would be
The
good.
state.
Yeah.
Skip the county. Go to the
Skip
state.
the county, go with the state rules.
Okay, that was it.
That was very good. Now, what's happening with this? Who's gonna draft it? Who's gonna bring the, draft before us? Who's gonna bring the draft to Leverton? Because it definitely has to be reviewed.
Well, I think we have to do another draft
Yeah.
before it goes to Leverton.
Okay, who's gonna do that?
We'll take care of it.
Done. Moving on.
If Robin, you've already started typing,
Yeah, Robin is, so
But
she's,
Dave gave me it,
yeah.
so I've got it working
so
draft,
do
but
you
it's
wanna,
the longer version of what
you'll
you guys-
incorporate, you'll put our notes together
I
into
can.
one draft, send it to Dave and
Because
I,
they've got the formatting
and then,
function.
Yes, because it needs to be
are
formatted
we
like
gonna be
ours.
allowed to comment
I just
back to
wonder if
Robin?
When you guys send that between you, can you send it out to us too?
Sure.
Do you
So we
think
can
there
review it.
is a need for any, definitions within that?
They're all listed in 23.33.
Yeah, so they don't really need to be there and
We
repeated.
referred to that, so I don't think
There's
you
a
need to
copy for
repeat
you.
it.
All right, anything else?
So can we, like I said, can Robin send the draft copy around and we individually have comments, we send them back to her and then we'll have a draft?
That way we have a better
By the
working draft
next
by the next
meeting.
meeting.
Right.
All right,
Okay.
We'll discuss it again, everybody's good with it, we'll give it to Leverton. And then we'll have a public hearing sometime in July.
well,
Maybe.
I think you better think about how long this is gonna take for him to review.
Well, I don't know how fast.
It takes an hour, so.
Yeah.
Pump that out low, but it'll take 2 months, 3 months.
Well, we
Well-
appreciate you guys giving us the time and going through the ordinance, and thank you.
Kurt, do I have your email address? I think I do.
Well, you should.
Amongst
I
things.
think I sent the ordinance
Okay.
to all four of you,
I
right?
think I
He's
did.
got
I
it,
say
he's
that.
got it, she made it.
Yep,
Okay.
there's a copy for him.
The agricultural portion's right there if you want it. She gave you a copy of it. It's just handwritten, but think you can read it.
Okay.
Thank
moving
you.
on. Item B, discussion and decision of application for 2019 Jefferson County Bridge Aid for Cool Road Culvert. You guys saw those totals that were in there. Thank you for researching that, Robin.
Sure.
That was a lot of work. Those Bridge Aid papers are due on June 30th, and we have those pretty much ready to go.
Yep.
What we need is a motion to apply for the Bridge Aid in this biennium.
I will make that motion.
Second.
All right, and that was seconded by Jim. All in favor of applying for Bridge Aid for Cool Road, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. All right, that's taken care of. Well, almost, right?
Almost good.
C, discussion and decision on petitioning for Jefferson County Highway Aid. Now, Dave, you missed a really important meeting where you could have sat with us for 2 hours and discussed our road planning.
Do you know what I got done in 2 hours?
I bet you did, and we were all a little stymied by the fact.
Yeah, I was thinking I was more productive, but thank you for letting me
Well,
off.
that's how it is with Board of Review. So here's what we have in the hopper. We can get, wait, what am I at?
This one, right,
$3,790.
3790.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the question is, do you want to double your money and hold that money with no interest for 8 years in the county? And if you read very carefully in that paperwork, it says the county has first right of refusal on future road construction projects.
And it's always been that way.
Yes, it has. And we waited,
But why does it have to be 8 years?
well, that's when our next grant will come around. I mean, our next grant in that county rotation for LRIP money,
So it's not every 4 anymore. huh?
well, that's the way it was last year. I mean, in the last 8 years, we had accrued $35,000 worth of funding. And we chose to use that to do Corth Lane,
Which really helped at the time.
which really helped at the time. And it will be 8 years before that rotation comes around again. We could use that money for any other project if we want to bid that through Jefferson County. That has not been the most constructive way.
Do they bid road work?
They bid, but they never give us a firm bid, they only give us an estimate.
Right. Have you done work? You apparently haven't done any work with the county in 8 years.
No, other than
Corth
Park.
We use them for our signage, but that signage money is not applicable here.
Applicable here.
I don't believe it's applicable here, it might be.
So if you take $3,790 times 8 years, it's $30,320. So if you times that by 2, if it's matching funds, so we should have $60,000 in 8 years. So don't you hope that that's a pretty good return?
Yeah, I'm just saying, you're gonna be liable to use the county for that whenever
I
it
mean,
comes
we don't
up.
get interest on, but I mean, when it doubles, I don't know.
Yeah, you're not gonna amortize it over 8 years, get double.
Yeah.
I don't,
Well, we've always done it, right?
Yes,
we've always
that's
done
right, we've always done it.
All right.
it is a way to double your money. So I guess a motion is in order.
I'll make a motion that we apply for Jefferson County Highway Aid for matching funds of $3,790.
Second.
All right, is there any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor of petitioning for Jefferson County Highway Aid, please say aye. Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Subject closed. Item D, discussion and decision on 2019 alcohol licenses.
Okay, I gave you the list. There's 3 names that we need to add under operators, which is Aaron Krieger, Jeremy Zimmerman, and Andrea Zimmerman out of Mo's Place. They were late applicants that came in. Otherwise, everything else is on the list for you.
So do we have to break this down, or can we better break it down, huh?
I guess it's up to you guys.
Break them down, read them. Start with combo Class A.
All right, combo Class A liquor and malt renewal for Dadir Singh at the Lake Mills Travel Plaza at N 6947 Highway 89.
Make a motion to approve license.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the combo license? Dadir Singh, please say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, the same sign. License is granted. Combo Class B liquor and malt renewal license for Larry M. Hampchild at Mo's Place, Rutabaga Farm Inc., Crowville Oasis, D&D Ready Inc., London Depot. A motion to approve the combo Class B liquor and malt renewal.
That was a motion, second.
Yep.
Is there any discussion?
Other than is everybody's paid up, right? Personal property, keeping their vendors all paid.
I did ask Sharon that we're
Yeah.
all paid up. I did get a notice from
Personal property is
Frank's Liquor that London Depot was delinquent on something, but it was a small amount. I think it was just the timing of the
they've
billing.
been pretty
So
good.
I'm gonna check with them before I send any license out.
Okay.
All right. All in favor of approving the combo Class B liquor and malt renewal licenses, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Those Class B licenses are granted. Cigarette and tobacco products over the counter, DNL Investment, Lake Mills Travel Plaza, Rutabaga Farm Inc., Crowville Oasis, T&D Ready Incorporated, London Depot. I motion to approve the cigarette and tobacco product license.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the cigarette and tobacco products licensing, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. The license are granted. Non-intoxicating beverages, Larry M. Pump Shop, Mo's Place, D&L Investment, Lake Mills Travel Plaza, Rutabaga Farm Inc., Crowville Oasis, D&D Ready Incorporated, London Depot. I motion to approve the non-intoxicating beverage licenses.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving those 4 licenses, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Manager's licenses. Harinder Singh at the Lake Mills Travel Plaza, Jeffrey M. Baumgartner at the Crowville Oasis. I would motion to approve those 2 managers' licenses.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving these 2 managers' licenses, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Manager's license are granted. Operators' licenses. C. Carrillo at the Lake Mills Travel Plaza, Kelly Core at Mo's Place, Heather Williams, Mo's Place, Heather M. Williams, Crowville Oasis, Brandy Kraus, Crowville Oasis, Leanna Spencer, Crowville Oasis, Michelle M. Morgan, London Depot, Becky Reddy, London Depot, Nathan Johnson, London Depot, Jeffrey Conover, London Depot, Jennifer Jakowski, London Depot, Sherry McGraw, London Depot, Courtney Bartz, Crowville Oasis, Aaron Krieger, Mo's Place, Jeremy Zimmerman, Mo's Place, and Andrea Zimmerman, Mo's Place. I would motion to approve those operators' licenses.
Second.
Have you got any concerns?
None that I have. I didn't get any of the normal
No,
checks that I have.
Paperwork?
These are standing operators,
these are
correct?
standing operators. I did CCAP all of them, just to do a
Okay.
provision.
Check.
Yeah.
So I have nothing because I didn't get anything that
Okay.
way.
Am I counting right? 60?
Yes, I've got 16.
I have a motion on the floor to approve these operators' licenses. All in favor of approving the licenses, please say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, the same sign. Operators' licenses are approved. Thank you. Thanks for the work, Rob. Discussion and decision on Gordon Flesch contract for the copy machine. This too is something we kicked around a little bit. Robin's done some work to come up with some bids for us to look at. What's your recommendation, Robin?
Now I have to go with the Kyocera again.
Okay,
That machine is not doing well. Even the gentleman who came to work on it made it pretty clear that they're not in favor of using them in the future. Canon has always been just kind of a good workhorse for us. The one that's in office now, that one was one that's been here for 15 years almost. As far as between these two specific machines that I gave you copies of, the only difference between them is one is 36 pages per minute and one is 26 pages per minute. Otherwise, everything else is exactly the same. And I'm okay with either one, so.
I'll go with the cheaper one. Save $10 a month.
And so we will be leasing it, is that what we're talking about here, and paying per page? Or are we gonna buy it right out? I thought you had prices for that.
It's all on the sheet here, you just have to,
Discern it.
yeah. To buy out for the goal is just the 26 pages per minute, because that's the cheaper of the two. The buyout cost is $1,404, where leasing it, you lease it for 36 months at $48.86 per month, and then it's $1 buyout after the 36 months. But you do have the maintenance agreement on top of the actual cost of the machines, which includes the toner, and a cost per page. So,
So if you lease it for 3 months, you're gonna pay $1,758.96.
I think we should
Buy it
outright.
at $1,404.
we don't intend on changing a machine in 3-4 years, so, yeah.
So you save $350 buying it.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion then. I'm gonna make a motion that we buy the Canon Image Runner Advanced C2561F Roman numeral 2 system, which runs 26 pages per minute, and we buy that outright for $1,404, correct?
Correct.
And that we also engage in the maintenance agreement of 1.0137 per page, and for color, 0.0890 per page.
Go ahead.
Second.
Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, same side.
And that's gonna be in your house, right, Robin, in
Correct.
the office?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the machine we have now is just like going out in the trash, or what's
Yeah,
happening to it?
it's, they explained what would have to be done to it just to even get it to function, and it's honestly not worth
And the
their
one down
time
here
and
is
cost.
fine for what gets done on it, correct?
The one that's here's working?
Oh, we have in here is awesome.
Okay, it's Canon.
Works great.
We did have a little discussion about, the digital display for the meetings to project the agenda and any information. I guess we'll just kind of keep working on that. huh?
Yeah, I've been pricing some out, I've been kind of watching for some sales on Quill.
We've had a recommendation here from a professional who
Oh,
gave
yeah.
us an idea of what we should maybe be looking for in a projector. I think that would be really good if we followed up on those suggestions. And we can bring that forward into another meeting. Any board expense sheet approval?
Nope.
Do you have one?
All right, item G, discussion of the clerk's role in the daily town business. I asked to have this put on the agenda because I guess I'd like to know how we're gonna communicate in the town. Robin has put forward, I guess, I don't know, you have a cell phone now that is in the town, it is the town cell phone?
It's a town cell phone. We've always had a town cell phone since I left the position before. Sarah's had a town cell phone, but it was a flip phone. So it's now this style of phone. So texting is a whole lot easier, and it makes it a nice town record, so when we're notified with things. It keeps all the town information on town property.
And
not
what is
on
the phone
personal.
number?
Same phone number,
Which is?
920-648-5867.
I've never dialed that number.
That's been the town's number for 20 years. Longer? Longer? Okay, longer.
Have you ever dialed it?
Sure.
Okay, and then how are you going to communicate with me?
I suggest email because that way it's clear what you want, when it's come in, communication back and forth between the two of us, I think it'd just be a lot clearer
All right,
and timely and very efficient, because I think everybody on the board here knows that a clerk's position is a lot of times full-time work at part-time salary, so as efficiently as we can work as a team, I think it's
well,
just better.
that's my goal, to work as efficiently as we possibly can.
Yep.
I think we're still in transition though. I think there are some things that we need to iron out in transition. I guess one of the things that I feel like we need to work together on, and you guys need to help me, is on our agenda. Because if there are things that you would like to have on the agenda, you need to bring those forward.
I can make some suggestions. I've worked for other municipalities and kind of explain how it's been functioning. Things come into the clerk. You usually need to have some kind of idea what the timeline should be, when an agenda is set up, when the agenda is going to be posted. So if we have like by the date of even just shortly after the plan commission meeting, so like things like the Schwarzy application, if that needs to be taken off the agenda, we can address that. So if Jim, you communicate what's coming from the plan commission or what needs to be held from the plan commission. And then from that point, then I'll compile the information, send it to Hope. She can then add what she needs, send a final draft back to me, and I'll post it.
All right,
That way we can have it posted a little bit sooner, probably Wednesday night, Thursday before the meeting rather than later in the week. That way it gives people enough notification, because we don't do the newspaper anymore.
Right.
there were some concerns that you brought up, Robin, about posting, and I think we should talk
Yes.
about that. Robin has done some research and she says that we don't normally need to use those posting boxes, that our website would be sufficient.
Right, the state law has changed within the last couple of years where you can designate your town website as an official posting location, and then you continue to post at the town hall, eliminating those 2 extra posting locations. But it really has been left up to the towns as to what best fits them to make that decision.
How do you guys feel about that? You don't have to decide tonight, you can think about that.
Just know that the posting boards that are at Finch Brothers and the North End are in pretty rough shape.
And we just replaced the one.
Yeah, something with a cork, something likes to chew on it.
Well, there was an ant farm in there.
Yeah.
All right. Let me
So you want to put that, you're going to put that on the agenda for next month?
The
Discuss that?
posting,
Yeah, discuss it, so we can get a
put on
formal.
the posting boxes on the agenda. In the
Yeah.
meantime, I'll take a look at them.
yeah, the other thing we
Or-
can do
yeah.
for agendas too that other towns have done is they'll actually have an agenda item on their month's agenda for listing what's gonna be a next month's agenda. So you already have like a working list from the meeting. Like tonight, if we came up with items that we're gonna have for the July meeting, we have a starting list. We could add that to our agenda it's usually at the end.
Yep.
You'll have to explain that to me or show that to me, how you're gonna do that. So you're just like,
It's just an agenda item, like right after board expense sheet, you'll say, agenda items for next month.
Okay, all right, I understand.
Are you going to rebid the snow removal contract, or you just having Forrest work on a price?
I asked, he gave us a price for each piece of machinery and the hour, the rate that he was gonna charge us. What I asked him to do was to come up with a concept for brining
Okay.
and implement that program in the next 3 years. And what I asked him for tonight was a 3-year contract. We have always had a 3-year contract. And so I told him he could have a little time to think about how he wanted to approach both of these subjects.
Because I think that the contract was tabled, back in
2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still sitting on the table, so either we're gonna rebid it or formally or
Work up the details.
or negotiate. So we gotta make
All right,
some kind of a decision.
well, I think then, what do you think is the best?
If
I
we
don't know.
negotiate, does that need to be a closed session?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Because that, has very specific notifications and such.
You've asked him to rebid it. So do we open it up again to
Yes, I think
formally
maybe we
post
should.
it? And yeah, we should. I think we
I
should.
think we should too.
So next month, we should formally take it off the table and deny it and reopen it for bidding and post it forever.
Okay, all right.
I'll have
that's
to
good.
do it legal.
Yeah.
Yes, when we're not in a hurry. I think that's fine. You guys have anything else?
Correspondence?
So, you are going to refer, when you have complaints, Robin, when you have complaints, all these complaints are not normally coming in on the web.
No, not all of them.
And so-
Sometimes they're phone calls, sometimes they're emails.
So those you are going to list to me?
The ones that seem appropriate, there's some that come in that definitely need to go to Matt or Chief.
Yes.
The boat issues, things like that. But yeah, ones that come in that are appropriate, I can go, I guess you guys will have to decide how you want to handle it. Do you want it to go to all of you, so you're all informed of what's coming in? Or do you want it to go to one specific person?
Well, this is why I thought it was such a good idea for us to sort of sit down and come up with a policy, because a lot of times when complaints would come in, our former clerk would send those complaints that came in on the internet directly to me. Most of the time, they're road complaints.
Right. And you're right, most of them are,
Most of the time, they're road complaints.
or they're trees.
Well, what's the difference? They're all road maintenance, they're all highway maintenance things that have to come before us. So I guess I'd appreciate it if you would share those with me and/or make a list of things so that I can be kept in the loop, on a month, on a weekly basis or something.
Yep, so far the ones that have come in, I've been forwarding, so
All right, I think that's
that way it's off my plate. since I forwarded it.
proactive. And that was the way we solved it, we, both of us, Sarah and I, felt that we were the sounding boards and we let people express whatever their troubles were.
Yeah.
And then we appropriately handled that. Some of them went in one ear and out the other, and
And
some of
usually
them.
when I get them, like I said, I want them off my plate, so I forward them
Yeah,
to you right away.
okay, just want to make sure. The other thing I would like very much to have is a packet, when you produce planning packets. I've been attending those meetings, I would like a packet per planning. I stole Sarah Mushka's this last month.
Okay.
But she doesn't have it. Also, I made up this road improvement list, which, because I had to submit it for that price change, and I emailed this to you.
Yes, I got that.
You guys have it? Oh, look, I got our money spent all the way to 2029.
No, we don't have it.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
I didn't. print
So
it
will
out.
you forward that to them?
Yep.
And this is a moving target. You can have this. This is a moving target. I applied for the $5,000 that was still sitting there, left from Court Lane, and I applied it to Mud Lake. We all agreed through this bridge aid thing that bridge aid will then be applied for Mud Lake when this is complete, and for airport when this is complete in the next go-round. This is a total moving target, but it does kind of put things down on paper. It is part of the grant application, or the price switching, or whatever the heck we did for that Mud Lake Road project. So I think we can keep hammering away on that.
Are we under correspondence?
Well, we will be.
Okay.
Do you have
I'm trying to figure out
correspondence?
where that fits into the discussion here, so.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that he had it, since he was not at Board of Review, and I wanted to make sure that you had sent it to them so they understand that it has been produced. Okay, now we're on correspondence.
I got in a call today about the potholes on East Crokeville, but that's been addressed, so,
Yeah, I had calls about potholes too.
yeah.
And I guess the way we're working this pothole thing out is he has the list, you saw that. He has limited time to work on it. I guess we're getting as far as we can. And there may be some that then need to go back and be saw cut. There are also two other problems that have developed. There is a hole in the road on Rock Lake Road at a culvert there at the corner. And Sharon has a concern on Cool/Airport Road. And I did give the heads up on that to Levake. I think we're gonna have to do all 3 of those culverts. I'm hoping he'll stick with the price. But I guess we'll have to put that on next month too, to approve it.
Okay.
But if he gets going, I'm making him do it. Didn't really plan on that, did you?
Unknown.
So this is the culvert for Cool Road / Airport Road. This would be in addition to what he's already
Yes,
did.
there are 2 more culverts that have failed. One on Rock Lake and the one on Cool / Airport.
Okay.
And the confusion on the culverts with Airport is, the one we've already approved is a field driveway culvert, not a major over the road into under the road culvert.
Okay.
All right, just to be clear on that. Okay, no correspondence?
No, nothing other than what I've already forwarded to you guys. So.
All right, item 12, meeting scheduled. Well, I noticed that we had gotten a notice for a water quality and agricultural landscape something or other. The meeting is
Is that
at
the
the,
one that just came in today?
yeah, the Bradset Farm on 6/18 from 4 to 8 p.m. I had a request from the county. Jefferson County is hosting Farm Technology Days and they're seeking volunteers. Maybe we could put something on the website about that. The dates of that Farm Tech thing in Grelton are July 24th through the 27th. They're looking for people to help park cars and be greeters and generally
Everything.
Everything.
Food servers,
lots of stuff to
trash
do.
cleanup.
Item 12, meeting scheduled, July 2nd is the Joint Rock Lake Committee at 6. July 2nd is also the Planning Committee at 8 p.m. And July 9th is the regular town board meeting.
Now, the Joint Rock Lake Committee meeting, I think I saw
It's a
something come
boat
through
thing,
that
yeah.
it's not a, yeah.
It's a boat tour, and I'm sure that's gonna be weather dependent, but
Yeah.
we'll wait to see their
It still
agenda.
needs to be posted as a quorum notice at
Yes,
least, right?
yes. I don't know anything else that's coming up. I would make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Meeting is adjourned.